Down go the Philadelphia Eagles. What a privilege it must be to be so unbelievably upset that you lose one regular season game. Welcome to the Losing Sucks section of Drunk on Broad. I'm Travis. My co host Dustin is not with us tonight. It is just me. I'm going to bring you a couple players that I think you can rely on or take a swing on in week 14. By this time in the season, you pretty much know exactly what it takes to get in the playoffs if you have not already been eliminated or clinched your spot. There are players that are needing big weeks from some uncommon names. This section is called Living on a Prayer. So if you've got injuries or you have Washington players on a bye, for example, and you need a couple of guys that are not your mainstream names that you might be able to rely on, here are some guys to check your waiver wire for. Maybe they're on your bench and you're debating throwing them in there. Number one, Noah Brown. Yes, the Jets defense is tough, but we saw Noah Brown give us a few top 5 performances when Houston was depleted at receiver. It is once depleted again with Tank Dell out on IR. No, this is not promised, but this whole section is not promised. But in a pinch, I think Noah Brown could work out. Number 2, Zeke Elliott. I know it's painful to even say the name, but he should see 15-plus touches this week. With Ramondre Stevenson out, he got a lot of work last week. Maybe he falls into the end zone, gets you double digits on the week. You could do worse than Zeke in your flex this week. Gardner Minshew, he won't give you a 25 to 30 point week. I don't really think he has that in him. But with all the injuries, and especially in Superflex and 2 quarterback leagues, which are becoming more and more popular, that 15 to 18 point guy with all the injuries right now is very useful. I'm rolling Minshew out in a couple of Superflex leagues myself. Jameis Winston, if Derek Carr is out, we know who Jameis Winston is. He's going to sling it. He's going to say fuck it. He's going to throw it around. Big upside swing here. If you are in need of a 30-point quarterback, 25-point guy, I would say he has a better chance of it if he gets the full start than a guy like Gardner Minshew. Taysom Hill will be a thorn in the side. He always is. But Jameis just lets it fly, and he's fun to root for. Jake Browning, we just saw a huge game from Jake Browning, a top 5 week. Was it a one-game wonder, or did something click for him? I think he will give you that 15 to 20 points, kind of like Minshew at home with all of his weapons healthy. I think you could do worse than Browning if you're in a pinch. Moving on, Zach Moss, I think, is due for a big bounce back week. The Titans gave him a tough outing last week, but we saw top 5 fantasy running back over the course of 6 weeks to start the season. He can get it done. He will get it done this week. Don't bench him just because he came up short for you last week. Chuba Hubbard, RB11 and RB6 for the last 2 weeks, not to mention 39 carries over the last 2 weeks, which is insane. He is the lead back. I don't know why. I'm a big Miles Sanders fan, but Carolina is not. Hubbard is the guy right now. Flex start him if you have him. Start sit. Quickly, I'm going to start the hot-handed Jordan Love. I'm going to sit Geno Smith versus San Francisco, even after a huge Week 13 for Geno Smith. Starting Keaton Mitchell. Yeah, he's been getting progressively more and more work, and he has been very efficient. Electric speed. I'm starting Alexander Mattison versus Vegas, over 65% of snaps last week and 5 yards per carry. Keep it going, Alexander Mattison. I'm sitting Devin Singletary. It was fun while it lasted, but Pierce is back, and I don't like the matchup with the Jets. I know they've given it up a little bit on the ground. I don't think Singletary is that guy. He doesn't have the backfield to himself. Sit Najee Harris. New England has been bottling up running backs. We just saw Eckler get 3 points versus them. It feels like a Jalen Warren game more than a Najee game this week. Wide receivers, starting Brandon Cooks. He's in a groove, and with CeeDee Lamb getting all the attention, he should get another 60 to 80 yards and a good chance at a touchdown. Start Rashee Rice, 16 catches on 19 targets over the last 2 weeks. He has arrived. He looks great. Shootout game coming with Buffalo. I expect a boatload of fantasy points in this matchup. Sitting Adam Thielen. Carolina sucks, and Thielen has gone one good game over the last 5 weeks. Let's not just keep hoping that he comes back. Let's play a guy with more upside. Sitting T. Higgins if you can. If you do play him, I don't mind it because of the name, but it does appear to be Jamar Chase as the first, second, and third read for Jake Browning. Maybe he starts to spread it a little bit more, but it does look like he knows I can go to Jamar Chase and nobody will be upset with me pretty much the whole game. 4 names, my big picks of the week, guys that I think will smash their projection. I already mentioned it. Jordan Love is hot. He gets the Giants. enough said. James Cook in the last 2 weeks has been fed the ball. I think James Cook is going to get close to 100 yards in his score. I think most projections probably have him around the 12-point range in PPR. I think he approaches 18 to 20. Gabriel Davis, same matchup. We know what he has done to the Chiefs in the past. Gabe Davis, for some reason, lights them up. And I think we'll call it 2 touchdowns this week for Gabe Davis as a bold call. Finally, Evan Ingram, coming off of a 27-point day in tight end premium leagues. Evan Ingram with CJ Beathard at the helm probably this week. He found Ingram early and often. It's going to hurt the receivers to have Beathard there, I think, but that little safety valve of Evan Ingram is going to be heavily, heavily used, I think, by Jacksonville. So, good luck if you're not in. Once again, you can always DM us on Twitter. We respond immediately. If you have questions about start sit, we will talk you through who we think and why. We're not just going to throw a name at you and then not respond if something goes wrong. We will take accountability for it, right or wrong, and we will explain our thought process to see if you agree. I hope that you are in your playoffs. I hope that you've been picking up on a couple tidbits here and there. We've been right, we've been wrong, but it's been fun. One more week before the playoffs. Losing sucks. Don't do it. Go Birds.